Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Thank you all for tuning in to my 38th episode of Project Renaissance Man. What I'm going to be talking to you all today about is going to be persona and breaking persona. Because if we really look at persona, what it is a prison. And it's a prison that's been made by criticisms, things that make us feel like we have to behave a certain way in order to fit in. And so, um, this is something many of us have endured, or went through. And I remember early on, especially in my post high school, like just straight out of high school years, I had really been imprisoned by persona. Especially with certain fields of work, like you work in retail, it's so typical that you'll see that people imprisoned by persona because they're just behaving in ways that aren't really, they betray their own desires, the way they really want to behave, the way they really want to be. um, and it's normal because I feel that this is ingrained deeply inside of wanting to belong, and so we compromise ourselves to belong, and we should never do that. We should never change or imitate something else and try to be something else other than what we are so that we can be accepted, because that's not true acceptance to begin with. You're not even being accepted. You're just being you're just playing the game. You're playing your part. You're just going with the motions of everything else, and you're not a cog in a machine. You're an actual individual with your own desires that should not be boxed up and contained. And so with that being said, I'm going to move on to my pointers. And these are ways that you can practice, breaking free from the persona if you're having issues with it. I remember probably post high school, straight out of high school, I had a lot of issues with this struggle, this conflict. And I did a pretty good job. I was very defiant. I actually purposely defied things just so I could never fall victim to this sort of prison, because I hated it. I hated pretentiousness. I hated superficiality. I hated phoniness. I still do to this day. But it was more of a fight back then, whereas now it's like I know who I am. I feel good about who I am. I accept who I am, and I don't play the game. And if there are repercussions, then so be it. It's better to have repercussions of not playing the game and not being accepted by people that aren't really willing to accept you for who you are anyways, than to compromise who you are. It's always better, trust me. And it's just an ill feeling to betray who you really are, as many of you guys know. And so the first pointer is practice disagreeability. Be okay with being disagreeable. I think this is where a lot of people go wrong. They feel like they have to agree with everything just to not upset somebody, but that's bogus. You gotta stand your ground, and if there's something that you're not in agreement with, be outspoken about it. Feel okay with voicing your opinion and standing behind it. Don't ever apologize for what you believe, because if you really believe it, you're basically washing that all away, when you decide to not stand behind it. And practicing disagreeability, you can even, one of the great exercises I feel to do this, if you're having a hard time doing it, is start small. For one, like, it could be musical taste. You could be in the car with a friend and maybe they're playing music that you're like, man, I do not feel this. Well, rather than acting like you like it, tell them, well, I'm not really fond of this music. I'm more into this or whatever. Just be straight about it. Another way is to play devil's advocate. So that's a more playful way too. It's fun, but it still gets you in the mode of being able to disagree. And what you do is if somebody says something and you think that their stance on something's a little out there, you can play devil's advocate and totally go against what they're saying intentionally and probe their stance. And This also opens up philosophy too, like philosophical discussion a lot of times, which is cool because you start saying, well, if you believe this and you're saying this, then what about this? And then you can bring logic in, and it can be a very fun discussion. So it also opens up thoughts, and subjects whereby we can discuss and then practice conversation as well. So there are a lot of benefits to this practice of disagreeability, and especially the devil's advocate. The second pointer is surround yourself with real people. So if you surround yourself with fake people, you're going to feel that the only way you can fit in is to play their game. It's the same thing with, like, at recess. You could have a game of kickball going on over here. You could have a game of kickball going on over here. Maybe the rule sets are different. Maybe people are playing differently over here versus here. For the most part, the rules are the same, but there could be, like, modifications. We as kids know how that is. Where we're like, well, now we're going to throw this in where, if you kick the ball over the fence, it's an automatic homer, and nobody can go and get the ball. That person's automatically counted as a score. Or while the other group of people are playing kickball, they're saying if the ball goes over, they can still get it, and if they can get it and get it back before the guy reaches home plate, well, then they can get him out. So there are different rule sets, and so what I'm saying is when you're surrounded by fake people, they have already put into place their rule sets for how to be and all that other stuff. The nice thing about playing with the kids that are real is that they just accept whatever you bring to the table. They like you for who you are, and that's what you want. You want to be free, and these people will also reinforce that good feeling of knowing that this is the way it should be. You should be okay with just being who you are and never compromise that. So yes, surround yourself with real people. The third pointer I have is to view fear as an impetus to breaking free from persona. So just this idea alone of feeling trapped inside of yourself and wanting to say things that you never say, or you're too afraid to say. Those things alone are terrifying. Whoever wants to be boxed up and contained, we're not meant to be that way. I remember speaking with a friend about this, and he said he believes wholeheartedly, we're not designed to be contained. Individuality is a real thing, and the yearnings for individualistic expression are very much so a true thing, and something that we long for. Even the people that are playing the game, deep down inside, they're just like restless with this constant battle of wanting to unleash who they really are, but they're too afraid to. So, yeah, those are the 3 pointers I got for you guys. Thank you all for tuning in to my 38th episode of Project Renaissance Man. If you guys have enjoyed this video and you feel you have benefited from it, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you all on Wednesday. Later.